Gentleman yields. Chair recognizes Mr. Amo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and Ambassador Khalilzad. Pleasure to see you. I wanted to understand a portion of your opening testimony. You said that, quote, the first phase of the withdrawal lasted 135 days in which U.S. forces were reduced to 8,600.
Right.
By the time President Trump left office, U.S. forces in Afghanistan had been reduced to 2,500. So let's fill in the gaps a little bit on what happened between the levels of 8,600 to 2,500.
Right.
So that reduction to 8,600, which you said occurred initially, that was ordered by President Trump, is that the case?
That is the case.
And it was an explicit condition of the Doha deal that the United States was on the hook to do that level of withdrawal after the signing of the agreement in 2020.
The only one that was specified in terms of a phase was phase one, to come to 8,600. It didn't get into subsequent phases, except that the final withdrawal of the remaining forces would be by May 1st or so, in 14 months, in other words. But there was no other phases like to go to 4,500 to 2,500. That was not specified in the agreement.
Okay, and it had occurred per the terms of the deal within 135 days
Phase
of
one.
signing. Phase
Yes.
one. Okay.
And we had felt the military advice was, I should ask them, that we could do the mission with the 8,600, so that the risk was not going to be higher in any significant degree in terms of our ability to carry out the mission still at the 8,600.
Got it. Understood. And so so you said that was in phase one, so there were no stipulations of further
Subsequent phases.
None
yes.
of the, okay. And do you recall any troop reduction directed by President Trump in September to
There was a
4,500?
phase of coming, I believe, I will need to check, but my recollection is it went to another phase of 4,500 and then to 2,500.
And was that at the discretion of President Trump?
The military offering options and the president deciding.
Okay. And did you understand that the drawdown in 2020, was that to be tied to any Taliban progress on meeting its own commitments in the Doha
Yes,
deal?
well, in that regard, yes, I would say. And that was their commitments, especially on the counterterrorism part. The relationship between counterterrorism commitment and withdrawal was very tight. The commitment on the Afghan reconciliation was not as tight. It was linked, but not as tight. We definitely was tight on start of inter-Afghan negotiations, but not on success, an agreement being in place before departure, complete departure.
Okay. And do you recall a tweet by President Trump in October 2020 pledging to have the small remaining number of our brave men and women serving in Afghanistan home by Christmas? Do you remember that tweet?
Well, there was the idea that was floated. I don't remember the specific tweet to get everybody home by Christmas. Yes, I remember speeches and statements.
But if you saw that, that'd be something that would surprise you.
I would not surprise me, no.
Okay. Okay. And according to the terms of the Doha Agreement, the United States would not fully withdraw all troops until May 2021. So did that seem realistic given the actions of the Taliban?
Well, I mean, that was not called for in the agreement, and the agreement had until May, and then it had also conditionality, which is that our commitment, delivering on them, dependent on them delivering on their commitments.
Would removing all those troops have impacted your leverage to secure Afghan peace talks?
Well, yeah, removing troops was the biggest leverage. So therefore, if we did not have the troops, the leverage during that period during which we would have had troops would not have been there.
And then, do you recall another discretionary troop reduction by President Trump down to 2,500 in January 2021, just before the administration took office?
I'm not aware of that there was any other decision in January to get the 25 troops out before the change in administration. I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Well, I see my time has expired, so.